We have an exclusive interview now with a Pennsylvania man who could be sentenced to more than a decade in prison for bringing hunting ammunition into the Turks and Caicos. He and his wife sat down with Matt Rivers. Good morning, Matt.
Yeah, good morning, George. Right there in that courthouse behind me, an American is inside waiting word on whether he might be sentenced to 12 years in a Turks and Caicos prison, a punishment that he says would not fit the crime.
It's been nothing short of a struggle, a nightmare.
This morning, an exclusive interview with American's Bryan Hagerich and his wife Ashley as Bryan faces sentencing, what could be a dozen years in a Turks and Caicos prison after airport security here found ammunition in his suitcase back in February.
When you see them grab the box of ammo and you realize that it's in there, what's the first thing that goes through your head?
Just complete utter surprise, shock. I was honestly unsure of what's next.
The family has been coming to Turks and Caicos for years, their kids aged 6 and 4, counting down the days each time before another beach trip.
I would certainly say it was probably the best one that we've had yet.
Vacation over, about to board a flight home to Pennsylvania, Bryan says his name was called over the PA system. His checked bag had been selected for a random search. Authorities then found hunting ammo Bryan says he'd forgotten was in there after a recent trip. In a matter of minutes, he was arrested in front of his kids and taken away.
I remember pleading, can't we just give this to you? Can't we just pay a fine? It was an honest mistake. And it was a firm no. So it was quick, and the kids were crying, and we said goodbye, and just disbelief is probably the best word I can even use to describe it.
Bryan went to jail, spending 8 nights inside.
Those were the absolute darkest days and nights of my life.
A tough amendment to a law in Turks and Caicos set a minimum 12-year sentence for anyone found with illegal guns or ammunition. The State Department and U.S. Embassy posting advisories about the law. It was designed to combat rising violence and weapons trafficking in the island nation, but it's also ensnared Americans who say they're nothing more than forgetful tourists.
So this is our sleeping quarters.
Now, out on bail, Bryan shares an Airbnb with another American recently charged under the law, Ryan Watson.
This is probably the loneliest I've ever been in my entire life. To have somebody that's experiencing the very same thing as you, it gives you some bit of support.
Both men are fathers of 2 young kids, children who understand their dads aren't home, but don't really get why.
The first question I'm asked at the start of every day, and the last question I'm asked before I put my kids to bed at night is, when is my daddy coming home?
Bryan missing major milestones, including both children's birthdays. He's scared he won't get to see his daughter graduate kindergarten, or even possibly high school.
12 years is a long time, and just all those special things, you look forward to as a parent, knowing that you potentially couldn't be there for those, that's what keeps me up at night.
A court will soon decide Bryan's sentence. He accepts he did something wrong.
What do you say to the people who say, look, you broke the law? It's a shame what your family's going through, but you broke the law here.
Right. And I'm the first to acknowledge that I take full responsibility for my actions. I'm not one that is out here asking for forgiveness and to just let me go away. There are alternative ways that this can be handled and dealt with that are within the laws of Turks and Caicos that will allow me to return home to my family. And we are just ever so prayerful that there's thought and consideration given that can allow that to happen.
I just ask for a little grace from people to understand that we're all human, and this was an honest mistake.
I'm a good person. We love this island, we love the people, we love the culture, everything about it. One honest mistake, to please don't let that define me for the next 12 years.
Now, this sentencing hearing is underway right now, but there's no guarantee that the judge will tell Hagerich what his sentence will be. The judge in this case has up to 14 days to decide. Guys?
All right, Matt, thank you for this. Tough. What a story that is, George. You're right.